Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Doc Chat Show. I am your host, Dr. John C. Turner, aka the Professor JT, aka Dr. JT. And without further ado, we have the amazing Dr. Valerie Daniel, who is back for her record eighth doctor guest appearance on the Doc Chat Show. Dr. Valerie Daniel, how are you doing on today?
I am well, Doc. How are you doing? Thank you again for having me. I cannot believe it's my eighth appearance. So thank you for letting me keep my record.
Yes, yes, and I'm thinking it's going to be like LeBron in points, Steph Curry in threes. It is not going to be broken. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Well, we appreciate you, and like I just told you, I believe you truly are going to be our doctor in residence when it comes to mental health discussions because you are the guru, you are the goat, you are the MVP, you are all those things, and we appreciate you for being on here on tonight. We appreciate
Well,
you.
if I can keep my ego in the frame after all of that, I'll be doing okay. So we're good to go then.
All good, all good. And shout out to Morning Star Counseling Services here in Indianapolis, Indiana. They gave me this fly sweatshirt. Pray
Yeah,
and get you a black therapist. Hey, you can do both,
I
and the
love it.
Lord will work it
I
out
love
in
it.
your favor. I'm
I love
telling
it.
you.
Absolutely love it. Yes, yes, yes.
And so we are here on today. We are waiting on another doctor to join us, Dr. Barry. Hopefully, she'll join us here momentarily. And we are so excited to be here on the Doc Chat this evening. The season has been phenomenal. We have had amazing episodes, amazing Dr. guests, and we appreciate everybody for tuning in. We already have somebody tuned in, our good friend, Dr. Edwards. We appreciate you, Dr. Edwards, so much for always showing love to the Doc Chat. Make sure you check out the episode she was on, the Women's Her Story Month. That was a powerful episode with Dr. V and Dr. Valentine. We appreciate y'all's support always. If you're checking out the Doc Chat, let us know where you're checking it out from. Let us know where you got your doctor degree in and anything you want to know about mental health. I got the one and only Dr. Valerie Daniel here, and she's going to be giving us some great insights on what we should be doing in that area. So, without further ado, first question, Doc, the United States of America or world when it comes to mental health. What are you seeing? Where are we right now that mental health has become such a big thing? You have pharma that's upon it. You have ads now. I don't know if you've seen the Eli Lilly ads. I've never seen so many Eli Lilly ads in my life. And we know what this is. They're looking to prescribe drugs sometimes for these mental health things. Where are we right now in terms of mental health as a society?
Well, unfortunately, we are not in a as great of a space as those commercials and ads would make you think.
Yeah.
Um, they make it as presume that it's just so simple and you can go to the doctor and get a pill and that's going to fix everything for you. But it's not that simple.
Mhm.
Just a couple of stats. We're at a space now where 1 in 5 Americans is dealing with some form of mental illness. 1 in 5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, one
That,
in five adults
yeah,
in the United States is living with some sort of mental illness.
that is huge.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember because we just did a show where I just dropped the statistic on. So in the United States,
Hmm.
there are approximately around 342 million people in the United States.
Hmm.
So let me do a little bit of math right here because
Oh, I
this
can
is
tell
huge.
you that's about 59 million peeps in the United States that are living with mental illness, some sort of mental illness.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, 59 million people.
And so, yeah, because that just rattled my brain. That is a lot of people. And you're saying a mental illness, prescribed mental illness, or can we get into how many more people is probably that are unsubscribed mental
Well,
illness?
that's what I was going to say. That number is actually likely very, very off.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
have lots of folks that are undiagnosed.
Yeah.
We have lots of folks that um, maybe perhaps saw a mental health professional at some point in their life and got a diagnosis and again never pursued. Or we've got, and I shouldn't say or, it's an and, we've got plenty of folks that have never been diagnosed at all.
Yeah.
These are just the folks that we know have had some sort of contact
Hmm. Yeah.
with the system that we can document. Yeah.
And that actually, if not pushed, actually went to go say, hey, I feel like there might be something going on with me. Let me try to get some kind of direction on it. That's a
Right.
big thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and not to be rude, let me go back, make sure we introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background as it comes to the years you've done the work, where you got your degrees from, and kind of what's your business as far as right now and today.
Sure. Well, I am a psychotherapist and I'm in private practice. I'm licensed in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And I've been doing this now for 25 years.
Okay.
Um, I work primarily with women, but I've worked across the gamut in terms of the age range.
Yeah.
I've worked from babies to seniors. And my experience is not only what I've done professionally, but also what I've done personally in terms of being a Black woman living in America. And so academically, I went to Temple and I got my master's in social work there. And then I went to Widener and I got my doctorate degree there.
Mhm.
So I have been at this for a really, really long time and I've watched the landscape of mental health services and the lack thereof
Yeah. Yeah.
decrease over
Yeah.
time.
And let's touch base on that. The landscape changing. When you started to what you see now, what are 2 or 3 things that are just totally, if you somebody would told you about 25 years ago, like the prescription drugs things was gonna be wild, or, the diagnosis, but what are 2 or 3 things you see that have totally changed the landscape in mental health in this last 2025?
Well, I would say that is one. The connection between big pharma and diagnosing in the mental health world. It that it again, the perception is that it's just so easy. Just take a pill
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's magically going to fix everything
Yeah.
has changed the landscape of how we think about mental illness.
Yeah.
And I think has also made it even harder for folks to, one, have access to the services and be willing to come forward and say they need help.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Because I know a lot of individuals, they'll try to do anything to not be on any kind of medication,
Yep.
which is understandable because we understand that these medications can lead to other medications and can lead to other health problems. And I sit here as an individual that had a father that got diagnosed with different type of mental illnesses. And sad to say, when he passed away at the age of 63, basically I threw away more medication than probably CVS had in
Yeah.
their whole store,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you had to take something in order to counteract something to counteract. And so when we're looking at this mental health, why is there so many drugs? Like, what is the thing with so many drugs that have to be taken in this day and age?
Well, the reality is, at least when it comes to the pharmacology for mental illness and mental health issues,
Mhm.
what we're trying to do is work on those neurotransmitters in your brain. And
Okay.
you've got tons of them. And so there are a variety of different drug categories based on what you may be dealing with that we can look at prescribing. And the issue can become just like with anything, because for most of us, dealing with something like a mental illness, it's a chronic long-term issue. You're not going to be cured.
Yeah.
And so you can develop tolerance. You can develop things like side effects that are unpleasant and unmanageable. So then you've got to get off of one thing and you got to try something else. And so over the course of a lifetime, yeah. And if you add in, maybe you're not that willing and wanting to be on these medications. So you might get prescribed something and you take it for a week or two and then you stop. And then by the time you go back to the doctor, you've got to be on something else because other issues, things have happened. And now you need something else. So it can be a multitude of reasons for why you need to have all of these variety of drugs available to be prescribed.
Yeah.
Goal is that you're working ideally with a team, from a therapist to a psychiatrist and your primary, that are watching and monitoring all of this so that we can minimize side effects. We can minimize you having to jump from pill to pill. We can minimize those things because, again, in my opinion, the ads make it look like all you got to do is take this pill and everything is fine.
Yeah.
When the reality is that's not the case.
Correct.
You need therapy. So you need the trifecta. You need a primary care doctor. You need a psychiatrist. You need a therapist, because the three of us can then collectively help you to stay on board. But if you think it's going to be, I'm just going to take a pill to deal with my major depression.
Yeah.
That's not likely going to cut it.
That's correct.
Correct.
We are just getting started here on the Doc Chat, folks. We are live on the Professor JT YouTube page, TikTok page, and Dr. John C. Turner on LinkedIn. We appreciate everybody on LinkedIn commenting. I see y'all out there. Keep those comments coming. Keep talking about these different things, because we were here to answer those questions and get what your perspective is. And we'll go back to you, Dr. Daniel. What is exactly a psychotherapist? Because we understand there's levels to this therapist thing. What exactly do you do, and why is it so important?
Great question. A psychotherapist is someone that provides therapy, and they are a licensed mental health professional.
Okay. Licensed. Key.
Licensed.
Not those folks on YouTube and TikTok giving them all that advice.
No.
That opinionated social media. Licensed.
Yeah. The key in that definition is licensed mental health professional.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing wrong with all the people on TikTok and everything giving out some advice, and some of them are really giving out some great sound bites and some great insight.
It is.
But the 5 seconds of that versus sitting in a session with someone for 45, 55 minutes and being able to come up with a diagnosis and a treatment plan and a game plan for how we're going to approach whatever your issues are.
Yeah.
Licensed mental health professional.
Indeed. That's what we need. That's what we need out here. And as we're looking now at individuals who are saying, I don't know if I want to go get therapy, what would you say to that population? Because especially as us, it gets to, and let me be flat honest. So you have these individuals that are like, I don't want to go because I don't want the label of looking. But then you got the individuals that'll go and they want to brag about that they went. Or let me be flat out honest again. I was dating a young lady a while back ago, and she came up and said, well, John, I talked to my therapist about you, and she said this. And I was like, I mean, is this a HIPAA violation or something? I don't think you're supposed to be telling me this. But it was like anytime something happened with us, boom, she shot back to her therapist. She shot back with me. So now you got the people that are bragging about they're going to their therapist, or they're, it's labeled as cool. I got my therapist. So how do we tell the individuals you should go to a therapist, but then how do we tell the individuals it's nice you go, but you don't got to brag about it?
Well, a couple things there. One, only because I've heard other people say this.
I don't date her no more either. I'm just saying. I moved
I wasn't
on.
even gonna touch that. I wasn't even
I
gonna
was
touch that.
I was telling her she probably needs to see her there. But go ahead. Go ahead.
I wasn't even gonna touch it. I was not gonna touch it. But if you have found a therapist that you have really built a great rapport with,
Mhm.
oftentimes folks are really excited about that and they want to
Yeah.
shout and share.
Yeah.
I would agree, however, you're in a relationship and you're running back and, oh, I'm going to tell my therapist, we go talk. That's crossing some boundaries just in terms of her own kind of personal processing space with her
Yeah.
therapist.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you have a really good rapport with that therapist and they create that safe space for you, yeah, lots of folks are, my therapist is great, my therapist is wonderful. I would rather them doing that as opposed to kind of the
Mm.
oversharing of what you were experiencing.
Yeah. Or
But
not going at all. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
or not going at all. And the
Mhm.
reality is for us, there's about 19.7% of the population of us that have some sort of mental health issue. So that's about 6.1 million people.
Yeah.
Um, and we have though one of the again lowest access rates of
Mhm.
utilizing therapeutic services,
Yeah.
partially because the system doesn't work in our favor all the time, but it's
Agree.
also because we have a lot of stigma and we just won't go, is
Right.
well, girl, we just gonna pray about it. Well, again, as your shirt said, you can pray and come and see a therapist.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so we need to do both, but we've got to work on this on the stigma, especially in
Mm.
our communities,
We
around seeking mental health services.
indeed. Indeed. And welcome, Dr. Barry. We appreciate you joining us. We appreciate you. How are you this evening?
I am doing well. How are all of you? And I'm sorry I got a phone call and it kind of kicked me out. So I
Oh,
used my iPad this time.
okay. Yep. You're all good. Lighting looks good. You sound good. You're in good shape. Good shape.
Okay,
So
thank you.
we are live here on the Doc Chat. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you got your doctorate degree, and the work you do in the mental health space.
Okay. So I got my PhD from Walden University.
Mhm.
I conferred in 2018.
Okay.
The
Okay.
type of work that I do, I work primarily in a school. I'm a child psychologist and I have my own business called Two Special Services. What I do is I work with at risk youth
Mhm.
who are what I like to say may be aligned with the school of prison pipeline. The type of support that I provide children and youth and families is academic support,
Mhm.
social and emotional support, and behavioral support. I like to consider myself an educational and therapeutic consultant and coach.
Love that. We love that. And Dr. Daniel is out in New Jersey and finding out you're in New Jersey as well.
We got to connect,
Yes,
definitely.
we most certainly do. We most certainly do.
We love that.
Absolutely.
We love that. And Dr. Barry, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I asked this question to Dr. Daniel. I want to ask it to you too, because you've been in the mental health space serving individuals for, I think you said around 20, 25 years, somewhere around there.
Yes.
So, what are the two or three things that you've seen has just, if somebody would told you 25 years ago, wow, this is going to be an issue 25 years later, what are some things you think, especially working with youth and younger adults, that you've seen have been the big game changers in mental health?
So, as it relates to mental health, what I've found as a shift is children and youth encounter so many adversities, right? The things that we used to suffer in silence about and not talk about um, plague their life in a way that it didn't plague our lives, right? And they may not have the resiliency, within them in their inner self, right? So
Right.
oftentimes what I'm seeing is children who aren't coping well with the environment and they have a lot of stimuli. Take, for instance, social media outlets, the internet,
Good.
and things of that nature. And it causes them some social and emotional concerns like obesity might be one.
Mhm.
Um, The fashion industry may be another. Even looking at a family system that's strong, that they may not have maybe an adversity that they're going through. Broken families, living with different families, different caregivers, and things of that nature. We don't even talk about SA and what may be going on within the home. So there's a lot of
Mm.
adversities that children go through, that they're not being supported. But in this society, we still want to force them to suffer in silence when they desperately need the support that maybe we weren't given, but they're not able to cope with in a way that we were.
That's powerful. That's powerful right there. Dr. Daniels, any thoughts you wanted to add?
Well, I concur and agree. I think we have a generation of kids that unfortunately have so many stimuli on a daily basis
Yeah.
Mhm.
that it also feeds into what I see in them as they become adults and wind up, if they wind up finding their way to therapy, that inability to delay, to have delayed gratification, because they're so overstimulated, so used to everything happening now
Oh,
instantaneously,
yes.
that the minute something doesn't happen like this, it's, oh my gosh, everything is over and the world is falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
And it's helping to teach, as Dr. Berry said, some of those coping skills that we have
Yeah.
of, no, that's not the end of the world. It just means it's a dream delayed. Doesn't mean you're not going to get it. It just means it might take you a little bit longer.
Mm.
But it's that lack of having the ability to self-soothe. It's that lack of understanding, again, time and patience, because if I've got a cell phone, I've got an iPad, I've got everything is instant. I want to look this up now. I can do it right
Mhm.
now.
Talking to Siri and
Yeah,
all these people, and they
yeah,
ain't even there.
yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. As
Yeah.
opposed to, I think, having to rely a little bit more on critical thinking skills, which is, I think, what Dr. Berry is kind of alluding to some degree, having some of those more critical thinking skills that can help you process more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, then it becomes, otherwise it's trauma, because this didn't happen the way I thought it was going to. It didn't happen when I thought it was going to. And
Mm.
not that those things aren't disappointing, but they don't have to mean that it's the end of the world either.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And Dr. Berry, Dr. Daniels brought up a very good point, those coping skills. And we were talking about those a little bit before, and just other skills that can help with all this stimuli that's out here, stimulation that's out here. What are some of the skills that you feel like younger people and youth, if they're hopefully getting these skills, maybe it will counteract some of this stimuli that's coming at them all the time?
Absolutely. So, and Dr. Daniels brought up an interesting point, is their critical thinking skills. However, sometimes because their brains are still so undeveloped, right? Because their brain doesn't mature, they say, until the age of 25.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to look at how they're processing this information and the things around them. You take a kid who is angry, right? And angry at what they're observing. They may be angry because, they don't have the latest outfit that another child has, right?
Mhm.
And they're not understanding, or we may not even understand that that anger is deriving from, and that secondary emotion, right?
Yep.
It's arriving from that abandonment, that unloved feeling.
That's it.
And if we're not talking with them, how are they able to understand what they're going through, and how do they process that hurt and pain? So, in order for them to cope better in the environment, they have to be behaviorally trained to cope. They have to
Mm.
understand that me suffering in silence and going through this by myself, I'm not alone. I'm not special. There's drones of people going through that.
Yeah.
And what can you do for yourself to better align your system to have a better outcome so you're not waking up angry? Like, is anyone teaching you how to wake up, how to affirm yourself, how to tell yourself you're great and you're going to
Mm.
be phenomenal in the future?
That's
Who's
good.
doing that for that young person?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they lack knowledge of self. They lack that brain processing ability because we're not teaching them no more how to do that. We were taught that.
That's right. That's right. Dr. Daniels, your thoughts. What can we do to counteract the stimuli that's coming to these younger people, even older people in our generation today?
Well, I think again, it does go to for our younger folks, as Dr. Berry said, doing some of that training, which unfortunately is often lacking in the home.
Yep.
It can also, I think, include, again, I don't work with children at this point in my life, but teaching self-soothing,
Mm,
teaching again some of those behavioral things as well as the emotional skills
yeah.
of how to love on yourself. I work with primarily women and adults at this point, women of color, and
Mhm.
I spend a lot of time working on self-love because that's a big part of
Mm,
learning how to self-regulate is knowing that you are enough. And so that, again, what's happening to you is not the whole world coming against you.
mhm,
Because if you
mhm.
don't have a sense of self, that you have resilience, it can often feel like everybody's against me.
Mm,
And that's not
mhm.
necessarily the case.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking in one of the comments from Dr. Edwards. She is right. A lot of the lack of having some of these behavioral skills, these emotional coping skills as well, they
Mhm.
wind up in the emergency room
Yeah.
because,
Mhm.
I don't know what a panic attack is and I think I'm having a heart attack or
Mm,
whatever is going on and I don't know how to regulate myself. I don't know what this emotional state is. And if no one ever taught me, then yeah, I think something is wrong with me. And
mhm.
so where do you go when something's wrong? You go to the hospital.
Man,
Yeah.
that is probably one of the places you don't need to go because they're going to probably send you somewhere else. But is that even getting sent somewhere else the right place you need to go? And Dr. Berry, because I want to stay on this track of young women right now and what you're seeing them go through. What are some of the big mental health type of things you're seeing these young women go through, especially as they're looking to go into adulthood, that seriously might be an issue as they're looking to move forward in their lives?
So you know what I see in young people and young females in particular is that hormonal change.
Mm,
Um,
mhm,
I don't think we spend enough time speaking with young ladies on how their hormones affect them. I remember working in a school, and I was a sped teacher at the time, but I was studying to be a doctor, and just their menstrual cycle, um, how many times they would be put out of class once a month, right? And I
Mhm.
said to the principal, well, let's track it, right? So if we kind of track them a little better, we can better prepare for how they're going to behave that week, right? Can we be more therapeutic? Can we be more nurturing so that when they walk through the hallways, they know that they're feeling supported? So
Mm.
sometimes females may not necessarily always be understood environmentally
Yeah.
because we're not, again, we don't concentrate on every behavior. So a lot of times you see that with clients, the parent will bring them in and, she behaves this way, she's talking, she's always angry. Well, when is she angry? Are we doing a needs assessment on that particular child?
That's good.
Right? I could give her cognitive behavior therapy. I can give her psychotherapy, but I
Mhm.
need to pinpoint what's going on in her system that's causing her to behave in this manner.
Mm.
And social media on a female, depending on who she is and how
mhm.
she's showing up in the world, is going to dictate some of her outcome
Exactly.
environmentally, whether it's school, community, etc.
Yeah.
So looking at those factors in a female, yeah, emotionally, she definitely and hormonally, you gotta watch the development of that and the changes.
That's good. That's good. Dr. Daniels, want to continue with that piece, kind of young women, women. Of course, you primarily doing work with women. What have you been seeing that has been big?
Well, I would say I would extend that into even as women go into their adulthood lives,
Yeah.
still not understanding. not only how their menstrual cycle affects them, but just how their hormonal cycle, period, impacts them, from their relationships, parenting, work relationships, etc. Having to spend a lot of time doing a lot of psychoeducation around women's bodies' health is often something that I spend a lot of time doing with my female clients, because I do ask those questions. When's your menstrual cycle? What's going on? Because we often don't put that into the mix of what's happening with us. And it's not because I'll hear, especially a lot of professional women, well, I don't want to use it as an excuse. It's not.
Right.
It's not using it as an excuse, but it's acknowledging what factors play into what's going on with you. Because as Dr. Berry said, if nothing else, if we can track and we know what's going on, and we know that one particular week of the month is not so great, then maybe we just plan differently for that 1 week of the month. It can be as simple as those little tweaks and changes that you can help someone to see through, where you ain't got to go to work and everybody's got to know what's going on in your business. But you can plan differently for how you want to go into that week. When you know that that's what's getting ready to happen. You can share with your partner what your cycle is, because they might already have some idea. I don't know what's going on, but I know once a month, this house is crazy. If we can talk about it, because again, this is also part of, for me, in terms of the wellness factor for women, if we can talk about it, as opposed to being ashamed, or, well, he don't need to know. If you're sharing your body with him or her, they need to know.
Yeah.
They need to know. And if you don't know, then you need to educate yourself so you can help to educate them.
Absolutely. We are here, folks, on the Doc Chat. We got Dr. Daniel, we got Dr. Berry, and I'm telling you, they are on fire tonight. I'm telling you, because these are the things, especially us in the Black community, are hesitant to talk about. But the thing is, we get everybody's opinions on it, but now we got two great professionals that can tell you the real deal about it, and we appreciate them being here today. So we're going to take the gloves off now. I need to get some perspective on when we're looking at mental health and relationships right now. Why is it such a big thing when, in the 90s, we had the R&B music? Like, we could play that and it felt like it just smoothed stuff over. Now we have beat down, cuss out, fight this, yell this, all these different. Where did all this come? And why is mental health such a big thing? And we'll start with Dr. Berry. You feel in relationships today?
Conflict resolution. We do not know how to resolve conflict.
No.
And this could go back to ancient times, right? And how we behave. It could be ingrained, right? Got to look at the pathology of things. But one of the things I see just overall is we don't know how to communicate with each other like we're doing right now in a healthy way. We don't know how to affirm each other. We don't know how to uplift each other. And you can say it's the music, you can say it's the environment, but we got to look within.
Yeah.
Why are we always angry? Why are we always yelling at each other? Why are we always putting each other down? Why are we not lifting each other as a community up, right? And I always think back on something Dr. Martin Luther King said was, united we stand, divided we fall. Look at our collapse right now. How often do we go over to the schools and say, you know what, baby, I'm a mentor you. I'm a mentor you. And until you get out of college, I can't give you money, but I can give you support, because that's what that young brother or sister needs at that moment. How often do we come together in some communities and do what we're doing right here and just pour into each other? Unity is everything, but we're not united. So conflict resolution is definitely something I would say about what we would need within our communities and our people.
Absolutely. Dr. Daniel, same question, relationships. What's going on with them? What's going on?
Well, I would agree. I think conflict resolution is definitely needed across the board. I would also say we need to work on learning how to communicate better, especially when it comes to our intimate relationships. I think, with the influence of social media, we are often not being truthful, not only with our
Mm,
partners, but with ourselves.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and again, as Dr. Berry said, kind of trying to keep up with the Joneses of social media, we are often misguided in how we are presenting and approaching relationships and how we show up in relationships. And I think it's a lot about communication. It's being afraid of, if I tell my truth, are they still going to be here? Are they still going to love me? Are they still going to like me? But my
Hmm.
question is, then who are they liking and loving to begin with? Because if you're not telling your truth, then who do they really know? Because they don't know you,
Yeah, yeah,
but we are so, again, and I have nothing wrong with any makeup, Botox, anything that anybody wants to do to make themselves feel and look better. But I think we've gotten to the point where we hide behind that so much, men and
mm,
women,
that's good.
that again the communication gets lost in terms of how do we actually say our truths and be comfortable in our own skin with someone that we say we want to be with.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the big thing, especially for me, shout out once again, Morningstar. Pray, get you a black therapist. I'm telling you, make sure you do both. Do both.
Yes.
And one thing I always want to make sure people realize is this: you go K through 12, you go 4 or 5 years undergrad, 2, 3 years masters, could be 4 to 6 years doctorate degree. That's over 20 plus years of school. How many of those years, even months or days, did you study anything about love? And that's always probably the biggest thing. I said, we don't know anything about love, but we always want it. And I think that's the thing, the education on love. And, Papa couldn't teach us because he was a Rolling Stone. You know, Mama couldn't teach us because she just rolled with whatever Papa did. you know, and so we're just in this weird space where we keep trying to figure out love and nobody's told us about it. And so, Dr. Berry, when we look at that concept of love and mental health, what right now should we be doing? Because we are a show about solutions. We want to provide solutions. If we have somebody that's like, I really want a relationship, but I know I might have some mental health things with me, I know I might have some trauma. What should people be doing? What can they be doing? Especially you working with youth. What are some things you like to tell the young women and young men that you work with?
So I provide a lot of therapeutic groups, right? I'm gonna say one, get you a therapist that can pour into you.
Mm,
Two, if you don't want a therapist, right? Get you a journal, research, self love and self care. People think, oh, get your hair done, your nails. No, it means looking within yourself, right?
good. That's good right there. Yeah.
Find some of the things that you love, right? What's something from your childhood you could bring into your current? Mine is my bicycle. I know when I get on that thing and start riding that bike, my energy just immediately comes up. I get a smile on
Mm,
my face. That
right.
cool air is blowing at me. I feel like I'm in a different space. But you got to learn how to really engage in self love and self care, you
Mm-hmm.
know, to even get to self empowerment.
That's good.
We're not taught to love ourselves. We're not
Yeah.
even taught on how to hug ourselves. We got to learn how to hug ourselves. We got to
Ooh,
learn how to be naked with ourselves. Take
yeah.
that wig off for a few minutes. It's okay. Take that weave out.
Yeah.
Take them clothes off. Look at your bare naked self and tell yourself how much you love and appreciate yourself for getting up every morning.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah.
Journal about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Write about you.
Yeah.
Connect with you so you could connect with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Understand your flaws before you outside pointing out everybody else's. I like to align with crystals, right? So I got this rose quartz crystal because I know I'm around children a lot. And I always want to transfer positive energy to the children,
Indeed.
right?
Indeed.
So I
Yeah.
tell myself in the morning when I'm aligning myself while I'm driving into work, remember to be loving, kind, and compassionate because you never know what it took for that baby to get inside this school today.
That's
Yep.
good. That's good right there.
Love on you because you are important.
Love that. We love that. And shout out to the wig wearers. Hey, y'all do y'all thing, but it's okay to let the head breathe. And I also want to say, all y'all men that's out here dyeing your beards, I get it, but sometimes y'all wearing more makeup than the women. Y'all, the women like the little gray in the beard. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, let that thing shine. That's wisdom right there. You know what I'm saying? We want individuals to be yourself, and it's okay. That's a big thing. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
And Dr. Daniel, question to you, just solution. What are you giving these women to help them keep going in times where they feel like they might not be inadequate? They feel like they might not be enough. What are you telling them?
Well, I feel like Dr. Bear and I are preaching the same thing here because it's about self love.
Yeah.
I tell all of my women, if whether you're in a relationship, you want to be in a relationship, you got to date yourself first.
Mm,
You got to date yourself first. I say the same thing. If you haven't stood in front of the mirror and looked at yourself and fell in love,
yeah.
how can you expect somebody else to love you? Because if you don't like your roles, if you don't like your stretch marks, if you don't, how can you expect someone else to come in and tell you that they love you and they mean it and you believe that they mean it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the other part of it. They can mean it, but if you don't believe it for yourself,
Mm,
anybody can come in and tell you that they love you. And you're like, well, you're just saying that because you're supposed to, because you're my boyfriend, because you're my girlfriend, because you're my. No,
yeah.
that's because you don't love you. So, yes, the journaling, it's loving you. I tell women all the time, I tell my men all the time, stand in front of the mirror every day again and give thanks for being you. Give thanks for the body that you woke up in that is giving you the strength to get through the journey that is yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's the only body you got.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you got to learn to fall in love with you. So I tell them, go out on dates,
Mm,
journal about it, talk about what's important to you, find a hobby. I love the riding the bike. I will say, go get on some skates, go whatever, something,
go to the beach. What's up?
go to the beach. My old
Mhm.
behind wouldn't need to be getting on those skates because I bust my ass. But whatever you could do that is going to bring that smile, that joy to
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to do that because if you can't do it for yourself, it's too much to put on someone else to find what that is for you and then maintain that for you
Yeah.
in a relationship.
That's
It's too
good.
much.
That's good right there. We're here, folks. We are rolling on the Doc Chat with Dr. Barry and Dr. Daniel. I appreciate these questions. Dr. Geddes, I'm telling you, I don't think we gonna leave this one alone. I'm sure there is, but yeah, I think us men do have our times. We do have our time. That's for sure. That's for sure. Now, this one is one I do want to throw to Dr. Barry. The seasonal depression thing, it's a real thing. You could say we're possibly coming out of it, but I know y'all both in New Jersey, even myself in Indianapolis, it could be 15 degrees tomorrow. How real is seasonal depression, depression, oppression, all these different types of things? How real is it? And why should we not negate it? Because we get some people, it's like, well, I just feel down sometimes. But what is the real talk when it comes to depression?
Yeah. And with seasonal depression, it impacts everyone
That's
that
right.
lives in darker climates, right? Because it's
Mhm.
gloomy, especially right after Christmas when the lights come down. Um, and you get up in the morning, it's dark outside and things of that nature. But it impacts our system because one, we're not getting a lot of that vitamin D and we're not taking vitamin D, right? And we're not getting that natural sunlight that causes us to smile and transfer that positive energy onto others.
For sure.
So yeah, it impacts you and you have cabin fever because you don't want to go outside in the cold all the time. You really got to get up and go outside in the cold for work. So some of the things you might want to do is like I will draw, right? And I'm no artist, but I can go on YouTube. I can put in step by step how to draw this picture colorless picture. I can draw a sun. And some of those vibrant colors will also change your mood when
That's
you're
good.
feeling those depressed
Mm,
emotions.
good.
You know,
Mhm.
I always tell people this, especially around this seasonal depression. Remember that the highest level of depression is the sudden loss of life, of losing a loved one.
Mm.
And interesting enough, especially female or male, they're more withdrawn. They self isolate more. So you got to do things that make you feel good in the house, whether it's cooking, whether it's playing music, whether definitely you got to exercise, stretch, try
Yeah.
to eat healthy. You know, whatever you can do to attack that depression so you don't feel that way. Because, like they say, it's okay one day not to be okay, but it's not okay every day not to be okay. You got
Right.
to align your system and do what makes you feel good and makes you feel like smiling. So go outside and smile at somebody, because when you smile at somebody, they smile back at you, and you guys are transferring
Yeah.
positive endorphins
Yeah.
that will float through your body and make you feel a little happier in that moment, even when you're depressed.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Solutions on depression. Dr. Daniel, what solutions do you have?
Well, along with everything that Dr. Berry said, I would also say, because it's something I often tell my folks as well, you can go on Amazon, you can go anywhere and get a sun lamp. Kind of the same
Mhm.
idea of, drawing the sun and getting that mind. You can get a sun lamp, you can do that. But it's the same thing. It's getting out. A smile don't cost you anything.
That's true.
It don't
That's
cost you anything. And so,
right.
yeah, getting out smiling, even if it's just saying hi to your neighbor, it's something. But seasonal depression, it's real. Again, as she said, it's cold, it's dark. We only get maybe 6, 7 hours, if that, of
Yeah.
sunlight during that time frame. And in communities of color, we already don't get enough vitamin D. So it shrinks even more in the wintertime because we're getting less exposure to the sun.
Yeah.
So you have to work at it. It's real and you have to work at it. Yeah, it's doing the little things. I'm with Dr. Berry, whether it's cooking, I don't care if you putting on some music, some old school R&B, whatever it is, and you getting in the house, you dancing around, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you do something that puts a smile on your face, even if it's only for a minute,
Yeah.
because it will make those feel good endorphins start to release.
That's good. That's good. And go next to Dr. Berry. And you kind of brought this up a little bit, the social media use, the
Mm,
algorithm,
mm,
what people are seeing. We have Meta who has been sued because of their algorithmic devices that literally are telling these kids they're not who they're supposed to be, or they need to do more or do this, and it's truly affecting their mind. What are you seeing as far as the effects of social media on mental health on young people, and what can be done about it, if anything? Because I think I've never heard really too much anything of what can be done about it. So what
Hmm.
can possibly be done about
So, if you look at what's going on sometimes with our youth, they do a lot of things for clickbait, right? They do a lot of things for clout. What I would say, and I would caution parents to pay attention to this, um, that physical aggression that's playing out all over social media. Young lady most recently just, lost her life. You can be sued because you pay for that phone.
it? Mm,
You
wow.
can be sued for that. And you're not paying attention to the anxiety and depression your child may be causing another child. So that's just one thing I would like to caution parents on. But most importantly, education is important. Are we speaking to our youth? Because, like, impulsivity is a real thing. So if I'm not
Mm,
stopping and thinking about the consequences of my action, and I just want clickbait, right? And I'm doing this for clout, and I might get a little bit of change off of it, I might not pay attention to the harmful effects of what I'm doing
yeah.
that can cause me. And that's why I always go to the school to prison pipeline. Children, watch what you are doing on social media. because you don't want it to take away your freedom and your life based on one action. Because we don't always train these children not to impulsively act, and we don't play the scenarios, and they don't always know the laws that they're breaking.
That's right.
So better train our youth is one of the things that I would definitely say.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, all these crazy challenges. I remember a while back ago they was doing the cinnamon challenge. You're snorting cinnamon, and you're doing all these different things because you saw somebody on social media do it. And Dr. Daniel, even as adults, um, I like the ticker on your phones that can show you how many hours you've been on social media and the hours of the scrolling. What are you telling and seeing from adults that it just has to be a warning out here about social media because it's getting so dangerous in our society?
Well, it is. I mean, I see it play out in relationships as well. Major arguments between two people because of something that you liked on social media.
Like the word.
Like y'all are really sitting in here with me because so and so likes something and you don't understand why they like that because he likes big book. Like what? What are we doing?
Real. It'd be real.
What are we doing? So for me, I think it starts kind of again where Dr. Berry said it's about teaching and training ourselves to put up boundaries, because I talk with my parents and like, oh, my kids on their phone all the time. Well, how about you? How about you?
Yeah.
Because if they're watching you on your phone all the time and you're telling them to put their phone down, no, everybody needs to go on a phone diet. Everybody needs to go on a phone diet.
That's a t-shirt. Everybody needs to go on a phone diet. I'm telling you, that is a t-shirt.
Everybody needs to go on a phone diet. So I tell my folks, not only look at that thing on your phone that tells you how much, time you're spending, but also actively put your phone down.
Yeah.
I have so many folks that come in, oh, I can't sleep. I have such a hard time sleeping. Where's your phone at when you go to bed?
What's the last thing you looked at before you went to bed?
Oh, it's in the bed with me. That's your problem. That's your problem. Because you can't get off your phone because you're doom scrolling. You can't get off your phone. Yeah. You have to be able to set boundaries. But again, it goes back to where we started with that instant gratification and not being able to have that delayed gratification. I've got to look right now. I've got to see right now. Yeah. It's detrimental to our well-being. And that lawsuit is a good thing because those algorithms are not only messing up our kids, they're messing us up too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We all need a phone diet from our phones because we spend too much time. And as old as I am to know what it was like to have no cell phones, we spend way too much time in these things. And again, it also speaks to the loneliness and the depression. I'm so alone, but you spend hours on your phone. When was the last time you had a conversation with somebody, as they say, IRL, in real life?
That's true. That's true.
So they have become, as useful as they are, they have become extremely detrimental to our emotional well-being. So I will be the first one to tell you, you need to put your phone outside your room before you go to bed. Oh, well, I use it for my alarm. Go to the dollar store, get you a digital alarm clock and plug that bad boy in and put your phone outside your room.
That's right.
But it's about, do I have enough willpower to make a change that is really worthy and good for me? Because if I love myself enough, I am worth it.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we see how quick an hour goes by when you're having fun. And I've had a blast with Dr. Berry and Dr. Daniel on tonight. So, Dr. Berry, tell folks social media wise, your business, websites, all those things where folks can find you. And we appreciate you for jumping in on this episode of the Doc Chat tonight.
Oh, absolutely. So people can find me on most of the social media networks. I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Snapchat, but I don't really have friends and stuff on that. But yeah, I'm on all the social networks. I'm gonna continue, to fight for our youth. I work, and my favorite flavor is working with families who have individualized education plans and trying to find support for those students, whether it's academic support, social emotional support, or behavior support, and finding resources to help families wrap around them when they're in crisis. But yeah, that's who Dr. Two is.
We appreciate you, Dr. Two. Appreciate you so much for being on the show on tonight. And Dr. Valerie Daniels. So we have a first timer in Dr. Two, and we have an eighth timer at Dr. Daniel. She is
Woohoo!
mashing it all here. I'm telling you, every season she comes and blesses us. And thank you for blessing us once again. Tell the folks where they can find you. And thank you so much for being on the Doc Chat once again.
You're so very welcome. You can find me on my website at lifescrossings.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm on social media as well, as Dr. Barry said. So by all means, wherever you need me, find me. And what I will say is you are always worth betting on yourself. So if you're ever thinking about going to therapy, give it a chance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We appreciate everybody jumping in our comments. Yeah, Dr. Jeff, where were you, man? You should have jumped in, man. But we have the replay, of course, on my LinkedIn page, Dr. John C. Turner, and on the Professor JT YouTube page. It is there. We appreciate everybody for joining it. Angelique, we appreciate Angelica. There we go. We appreciate you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you once again, all the support. And Dr. Rise, I see you. So Dr. Rise and my amazing new friend, Dr. Michael Miller, will be on next week as we're talking about AI. And it is a very important topic. And I'm so excited we got these great doctors to talk about that. It's very, very important. It is changing the world, and we want folks to get knowledge about it. And once again, shameless plug, pray, get you a Black therapist. You can do both. And I need folks to be doing both because, baby, you need all the support you can get out in this world. And we appreciate Dr. Barry, Dr. Daniel for jumping on. It's been a phenomenal season so far. We had the time on March 31st. We had the conversation with the United Nations. We are putting the Doc Chat worldwide. And we appreciate so much all the doctors that come on because y'all show us so much love. And we just want to get the voice of the doctors out here. No other platform does it like us here at the Doc Chat. And as you see, we had two beautiful doctors that did it in an amazing way tonight. So until next time, we have one more the Doc Chat Daily discussion on tomorrow. We're talking about branding at 12 p.m. noon. And like I said, we'll be back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, every Thursday night, talking about AI. The week after that, we have doctors talking about relationships. And then the week after that, we'll be wrapping up on why you should go get a doctorate degree. Our season will be over, and it's been a fun season so far. So until then, everybody be safe. Everybody be blessed. And until next time, everybody, peace.
Peace.